everyone, in today's lesson we're going to talk about how to solve circle linear systems algebraically. But first we need to address what they look like graphically. So let's just say I have a circle and then a line going through it. It's clear that we have two solutions, here and here. So this is our first scenario. Two solutions. We could have one solution. We could have a circle and then a line that only hits it in one spot. And if you remember from geometry, that's a tangent line. So it hits in one solution. And then we could even have a circle with a line going like that, where the line never intersects. So this one would be no solutions. So the idea for today is that we're going to focus mainly our attention on the two solutions. All right, so let's see what that will look like. So example number 1 is going to be x squared plus y squared equals 26, and x minus y is equal to 6. Now you can tell which one's the line and which one's the circle just by looking at the equation. If I have an x squared and a y squared, we know that that's our circle. And if we just have a singular x and a singular y, we know that that is our line. And the way that we solve these systems are all going to be the same. The first step is going to be to get the line into y equals. So line must be in y equals form. And then the second step will be to substitute the line into the circle. And then the rest we're really, you'll see what to do. So let's do what I said first. Let's take this x minus y equals 6 and let's solve it. So I'm going to do that on the side over here in blue. So x minus y equals 6. So I notice that the y is negative, so I'm actually going to add the y to both sides so that I can make it positive. So I have x equals 6 plus y. Then I'm going to move the 6 over. So I have x minus 6 is equal to y. And that is my line. So now I'm going to take this line, x minus 6, and plug it into the y for my circle. So we always start with the circle. So x squared plus y squared equals 26. And instead of y, I'm going to put my line of x minus 6. All right. So now we have to solve. So this x minus 6 squared, we have to double distribute. So if it helps, write it out. So we have x squared plus x minus 6 times x minus 6. And we'll double distribute. X times x is x squared. X times negative 6, negative 6x. Another negative 6x. And negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. And bring down my x squared and my 26. Combine any like terms that we have. X squared plus x squared is 2x squared. Negative 6x and negative 6x is negative 12x. Bring down my 36 and my 26. And then set it equal to 0. So we'll subtract 26 on both sides. And we get 2x squared minus 12x plus 10 equals 0. And then we're just going to factor. I believe I could take a 2 out of everything. So I have x squared minus 6x plus 5. And we can factor this by add multiply. So what adds to negative 6? That multiplies to 5. And you should be saying negative 1 and negative 5 with the 2 in front. And then we'll set each piece equal to 0. 2 equals 0 gets rejected. And we have positive 1 and positive 5. So in that image that I showed you before, we have a circle and then the line. So what you're finding is that you have the x value of 1 and an x value of 5. You just need to find the corresponding y values. Now, I always find the line to be the easiest to substitute back into, so I'm going to substitute into this x minus 6. So we have y equals x minus 6, and I'm going to first plug in x to be 1. So y is equal to 1 minus 6, which is negative 5. So, to put it all together, I substituted a 1 and got out a negative 5. That's one answer. Then I'm going to use that same line again, y equals x minus 6. But this time, I'm going to substitute my 5. So I have 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. So my final answer here was plugged in a 5 and got out negative 1. So 5, negative 1, and 1, negative 5 are my final answers. All right, that's it for a circle line in the form x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Let's try a more challenging problem. Okay, so problem number 2. We're going to say x plus y equals 5 is the line, and x plus 3 squared plus y minus 3 squared is equal to 53 is my circle. So now you're going to notice that this circle has a center other than 0, 0, right? The center is negative 3, positive 3. So same steps apply. First step is solve for y equals for the line. And step 2, plug the line into the circle. Okay, so let's just do the solving of the line. So we have x plus y equals 5. So we'll minus x on both sides, and we'll get y equals negative x plus 5. And we're going to plug this line into the circle. So I'm going to start by writing the circle. And I'm going to plug in my y value of negative x plus 5 right here. So I have x plus 3 squared plus my y value of negative x plus 5 minus 3 squared equals 53. Now we're going to have to double distribute this, and obviously this as well, but before we do that, let's simplify in here. We have a 5 minus 3, which I can make 2. So I have x plus 3 squared plus negative 5 plus 2 squared equals 53. And I can double distribute twice. X plus 3 times x plus 3 plus negative x plus 2 times negative x plus 2. So take a minute, pause the video, double distribute, set it equal to 0, and then hit resume for the solution. So when you double distributed these two, you should have gotten x squared plus 6x plus 9. And when you double distributed these two, you should have gotten x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then add like terms, we have an x squared and an x squared, 2x squared. 6x plus negative 4x is positive 2x. And 9 plus 4 is 13. And then when you set it equal to 0, you should have subtracted 53 on both sides, and you get 2x squared plus 2x minus 40 equals 0. And then you should have taken out a GCF of 2 if you want to solve. So we have 2x squared plus x minus 20. And again, like before, we can do add multiply here. What adds to 1, right? There's a 1 in front. That multiplies to negative 20. So take a minute, factor and solve, and then hit resume for the answer. So you should have gotten x plus 5 and x minus 4. Again, if you did a t-chart, you should have gotten negative 5 and positive 4. And when you did the 2 equals 0, that should have been rejected. So now the second part of this is finding those y values. So you have y equals negative x plus 5. So first I'm going to plug in this negative 5x over here, or negative 5 rather. So I have y equals negative 5 plus 5, and that'll give you 10. So you plug in a negative 5, you get out 10. The next one is y equals negative x plus 5 again. And my x is 4, so negative, and then 4, plus 5, and your answer there is 1. So I plugged in 4, got out 1, and those two are my final answers. So what that looks like is if I had a circle and a line, probably went that way, we could say this is negative 5, 10, and this spot here is 4, 1. And that would be what you are solving for. You found the points of intersection. Okay, I know there's a lot here. If you have any questions on the process, let me know. But I feel like the meat behind all of this is the factoring and solving. So if you're having trouble with factoring or any of the pieces, the foiling, the double distributing, just let me know and I'd be happy to help you. All right, have a good night.